All right, so this entire new podcast is unfortunately the voice was recorded on the camera, so I forgot to change the setting in my computer. So here it is, episode 40, Talking with Topher.
This podcast is sponsored by naturalbossnh.com and New Hampshire Vape Gallery. More on that later. Let's get into episode 40 of Talking with Topher. And how is everybody doing? It is 2021. We're here. And it is Monday afternoon. It is the 4th of January, and I am excited to be back. I have been watching the channel over the weekend, and to see so many people subscribing, watching, it's just amazing. Keep it coming. I can see that the channel's growing, so all of you out there are helping me as much as you can, and I appreciate it, and that's why I keep coming back week after week. It's just amazing to watch the channel grow. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe if you're watching. If you're watching, then hit the like buttons if you enjoy the video. I really appreciate it. That's how this thing gets bigger. That's what keeps me coming back week after week. So let's keep that rolling. I really do appreciate it. Just thank you to everybody out there. I have an email. It's TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. If you or someone you know has a story that needs or should be heard, send that on over to the email. I'll talk about it. Like I said before, anonymous, can have the shout out. Either way, send those stories on over to TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. Could be positive, negative. What did you do? Did you start off the new year with a resolution, or are you just picking your own things to start? Let's talk about it. All right, so send that into the email. And then, of course, you can follow me on social media. That's right. You can follow me on Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So go to any one of those or go to all of them. Give the follow. I'm on there all the time, and I love to see new followers popping up every day. So it's just a great thing. You know, I've done this for myself, I've said a whole bunch of times, but it really makes me feel good that, you know, my issues are also other people's issues. So when this is reaching other people and possibly helping, it just makes it that much better. I do have to say that this has been a really, really rough week. Yeah. So let's see. It all started, I'm going to have to say, almost last Saturday, right? So this would be before I recorded episode 39. Wife wasn't feeling too good. So she stayed out of work. And then she was still feeling ill after Sunday. So she couldn't go to work. She was feeling sick. And then she calls out, and just excruciating pain. She said there was like a stabbing in her chest, and it was like going through her back. So she dealt with that for a couple days. And then Monday, she was getting rest, no work for her. My friend Tyler comes over, and we hang out every Monday. We go to jiu-jitsu class, then we hang out, and then of course I clean up and I record the podcast every Monday. It's kind of like my routine. We decided we would just hang out, do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, which didn't happen, and then, you know, just hang out. You know, kind of talk over what we were going to do. We were getting ready for the new year, so we were going to hang out, watch Two Bears, One Cave live, stuff like that, just hanging out. And so he leaves Monday. My wife gets up. She's not feeling any better, so she can't go into work on Tuesday. I go to work on Tuesday. I come home. I'm doing all my regular stuff. Nothing different's changed for me. And then I'm getting excited because I have a short week this week. So I was getting ready to edit the podcast Wednesday morning, and I was trying to get it up before 8 o'clock Wednesday night, so that I could just go to work, do what I needed to on Thursday, close, and then come home, watch the ball drop. Right? Pretty easy. Turns out I get a phone call about 12 o'clock from Tyler saying that unfortunately all the symptoms he was feeling, he decided to go get a COVID test, and then it came back positive. So now I'm in the middle of editing, stuck in my kitchen. My wife's in severe pain. She's not feeling good. She had to go out and get a COVID test Wednesday morning. So now she's back. She's waiting for her results. Her pain's not getting any better. Tyler just informed me that there's a possibility I've had an exposure to COVID. And I'm like, okay, all right. So now what do I do, right? Well, you got to call the state. So I call the state. I tell them what's going on. They tell me I need to call the hotline and set up an appointment to get a COVID test done. So I do that, but they can't take my COVID test until Saturday or Sunday. So they set it up for Saturday, but they said Saturday or Sunday would be the better of the 2 days. I'd have to pick one. I said, fine, we'll do it on Saturday, right? So now I find out that I also have to quarantine because I've had an interaction with somebody who's gone positive. So now I have an opportunity of spreading this. So a lot of stuff starts running through my brain. A lot of stuff. What am I going to do about work? All kinds of things. So now I'm like, all right, shit. What am I going to do here? Probably about 3 hours after I found out the information from Tyler, my wife is in so much pain that she needs to go to the ER. I asked her if I needed to take her. She said, no, I want to drive myself because I don't want to get stuck there, which I don't blame her. And I couldn't go anyways because it's not like it used to be. Normally, if one of us got sick, we'd stay with the other one in the ER and in the waiting room and wait. But you're not allowed to do that anymore. There's no visitors. I mean, unless you actually need like a translator or something like that. So there's nobody that can hang out with you anymore, right? So I couldn't go. And then she decided to drive herself. So now she's at the ER. And this is like 2:30 in the afternoon, I think. And I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. I got my test set up. I've called my doctors. I'm now keeping an eye on my symptoms. I'm also upgrading on my vitamin C. I'm pumping more into me. Just trying to stay healthy, trying to make sure that I don't get sick. And as the day progresses, I finally, I find out that I can't go to work. I have to stay on quarantine for 10 days. So that'll bring me to the 8th, right? Today's the 4th. So I can't go back to work until the 8th. I can't leave my house until the 8th. So it's very unfortunate. But this is so that in case I was asymptomatic or something, you don't want to be carrying this around and spreading it. I mean, I wear my mask. And if I was at work, I'd have gloves on, I'd have the plastic shields, and I'd have masks. But who wants to really take these chances, right? So hours go by. I've now edited the podcast. I'm getting it uploaded by I think I got it uploaded by 8. I ended up meeting my goal. It's just that It took forever for me to meet my goal because I was doing so much in between, and I was just thinking about not going to work, and I'm thinking about missing my very first week of jujitsu back, and it's one of those things where you just start thinking about all the shit you can't do, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm stuck in my house. So, and I'm not really going to talk about Tyler's symptoms or anything like that. I want to get together with him. I want him to sit down, and I want him to go over what he felt and what he went through. I'm just going to basically give you the gist of what I did and what I went through, and that's about it. I mean, I'm just going to go over how I felt, just how I went through this whole thing. So now it's Wednesday night. It's now 10 o'clock at night. She's still in the ER, still waiting. She didn't get home until like 1 o'clock in the morning, I think. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock. It wasn't even until like 11:30 till she was seen. So they put her they give her tests, and then they send her home. That day, while she was at the ER, her test results came back negative. No COVID. So she comes back home. Not really anything they could do for her. They basically told her you have a virus, and because it's not COVID, we don't really know what it is, because that's the way things are going now. All they're doing is testing for COVID, and I don't understand this because they're not testing for anything else, and I think that's completely wrong and stupid. I think it's fucking stupid, period. Oh yeah, we're past that 10-minute mark. Fuck it. But yeah, so I just think it's crazy that they're not testing for anything else except for COVID, and it frustrates and angers me. So now she's home. Thursday goes by. Not going to work. Friday goes by. Saturday comes. So hooray, Saturday! I can finally leave my house. To basically just drive to the spot, get my test, and then of course I'm driving back home. To actually set up like a Walmart shopping and I did some Amazon stuff, got some stuff from Whole Foods, like this freaking awesome liquid death. I love this stuff. It is amazing. And I love the zoom on this new camera. It's pretty sick. But it's really good. So I ordered some more of this. This is the carbonated one. The white one's uncarbonated. And so I got some more of my stuff, and it was pretty neat. I'm going to have to say that the services that we have in place right now, DoorDash, Amazon delivery, Walmart Plus delivery, like, I don't know what I would have done without these things. I mean, I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't do anything, and I was literally having everything shipped in. I still am. I have to place another order today and have my groceries shipped in because I'm still not allowed to leave my house until after the 7th. So I'm putting this all together, and my at the time she's sleeping 16 to 18 hours easy. And then when she does get up and showers and stuff, she would lay right back down on the couch and just in and out of hot and cold, flashes, sweating, the whole nine, crazy. And during this time, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm getting upset because, I'm trying to figure everything out, and I'm also in the middle of helping my mother-in-law with her washer machine, but I can't actually go and help her with it. I have to do it over the phone, so I'm tearing apart my washer machine because I gave them my old one, which is almost identical to what I have. And so I'm ripping apart my washing machine. I'm doing all this stuff, trying to help her out. And then one of my hose started leaking. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So now I got to replace the hoses on the back of my washer because I guess they were so old that when I moved them, it just ruined the rubber and it wouldn't go back into place. So now it just drips everywhere, which is unfortunate. But so those things frustrate me. And then also I'm getting frustrated because I'm trying to figure out like how this happened. How did Tyler get sick? Now I'm going to tell you a few things, but this is a guy that doesn't really go anywhere. He schools from home because he's in college, and the college that he goes to, he works for. So There's no campus. Nothing. He works from home and does school from home. He goes to jiu-jitsu with me on Mondays. And that's it. This guy doesn't do much of anything. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he does all of his stuff from his house. Barely sees anybody. And was like the last person I ever thought would catch COVID. Now, I never thought about his mom or his dad or anything like that. And so, don't really know how this all got started. But I was angry. And I guess I have to say I am still a little angry at the fact that, you know, everything in my life came to a screeching halt because of this. I understand the safety of everything. I'm not a complete idiot. But it is very frustrating when you can't do the things that you want to do. So it was like I was sick, except I wasn't. You know what I mean? So like everything, all the control I had was gone, and now all I can do is sit at home. And I mean, I'm not twiddling my thumbs. Did a whole bunch of stuff in the podcast room. I did a bunch of computer stuff. I fixed some shit at in the house. So I mean, I'm not doing anything, but I'm not doing what I want to be doing. And all I'm thinking about is missing class on Monday. And here we are Monday, and I didn't get to go. And that is life. And that is what took me days to figure out, that this is just what it is. It's an inconvenience to all of us. And for me to be like, oh, it's only inconveniencing me, well, it's ignorant, right? And it's like Tyler didn't want to be on this road. He's actually sick, right? He is actually sick. So for me to freak out at him was not the correct thing to do. But I was upset, and I was angry. And I feel like I went through all of these emotions in like a couple days. Like, at first, when he told me, I was like, oh, no big deal, dude, no big deal. And then as the restrictions and the protocol got put into place, and I found out what I actually had to do because of this, that's when I started getting kind of depressed, a little sad. And then the next day, it just turned into anger. I was angry at my boss because, he, at one point in time, he made it sound like it was, like, how do I put this? It's just me and the owner at the shop, right? So if I'm not there, he is working every single day now. And the way that it came off to me was, he was saying, I haven't taken any vacation time. I haven't done anything, so, you should be, like, almost, I felt like he was saying, like, I should praise him. And I was like, and I read it wrong, and I read the text message incorrectly, and that's my fault, because that's how text messages go down, right? You're in an emotion, you're in a feeling, you read someone's text message, and you take something that was meant to be positive, and you can turn it into a negative. You can turn almost any text message into a negative. You can even turn it into a positive if it is a negative, because you're reading it. So you're only reading it, and then you're interpreting it through your feelings, instead of the person actually saying it to you. So I feel like almost any text message can be read incorrectly for the most part. He made it sound like he was, I haven't taken any vacation time, look at me. And I'm like, motherfucker, you are the owner of the shop. Like, at the end of the day, it's your shop. When it goes down, it goes down. And I was like, I don't even want to be taking vacation time for this. I don't even want to be home. I'm not sick. Right? And then, mind you, this is all happening, like Thursday. Yeah, I think it was Thursday. So I don't know if I mentioned that, but I just wanted to make sure the timetable wasn't still on Saturday. And then I'm going over this, and we're talking in the basement, and then he called me, because the text messages weren't going anywhere. And he's like, no, man, I'm trying to help you out. I was just stating that I haven't had any vacation time or anything. So probably when this is over, I'm probably going to take a few days because I'm just worked like 12 to 14, 12 days in a row. I think it'll work about 12 days in a row when I go back finally on Thursday. And I was like, oh, I get it. And he's like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I haven't taken any vacation time. You know, the year just started. This really sucks for you. I got a way for us to work this out so that you don't have to take vacation time right now and you can kind of rebuild this time. I'm still going to pay you for everything. So I was like, by the time he was done talking, I felt like a tool, which I should have. I should have felt like a tool because I was being angry, selfish, and what's that word where I know it's selfish, but when you're only looking at yourself, you know what I mean? I was only looking at what was going on with me, and I wasn't really thinking about anybody else. I was like, just me, me. Of course, that's where the alcoholic brain goes. It's so unfortunate, and I hate it so much. But this is also what takes a lot of work to get past. You have to get past these things where it's not just about you anymore. This is about a much bigger picture than myself. It's much bigger than me not being able to go to jiu-jitsu or not working for a couple days. This is how we don't keep infecting people. This is how we figure out how to keep this spread down. So when I'm getting told 10 days, I got all these negative thoughts going through my brain. But then by the end of Thursday, things started leveling out. I was like, man, Joe, he's really trying to help me. You know, where would I be without a friend like this? You know, I could have a job where I could have lost my job because of this. And this is something I found out later, but so it just could have worked out so differently. And if I'm only missing a couple classes this week, it's okay. Because now I take the worry of spreading this to my classmates away. So even though I'm upset, I can't go do things, it's a good thing, because if my tests come back positive, then I would have been a spreader. And I don't think that's the label I need right now during these really, really tough times. So I'm glad I listened to him. I'm glad I listened to my mother-in-law, and I'm glad I had the discussion that I had with Tyler, because it really turned my focus off myself. Now, Saturday shows up, right? Because we don't really need to, nothing happened Friday. It was a nice, relaxing day. I got some stuff done and started figuring out my kettlebell workout, which I'll get into after. So Saturday shows up, right? 1:20 in the afternoon, I gotta be at Dartmouth. So I'm at Dartmouth. I showed up at 1:08 because last time I went, and this was the test I had to take before my septum surgery, the line was super long. So I got there at the time I was supposed to, but I didn't actually get my COVID test till 10 to 15 minutes later. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll show up a little bit early. No traffic. There was nobody on the road. And then I got there, and there was nobody in line. So I was the first one to pull up. And I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I pull up, and she's like, your name? And I was like, I'm early. She's like, it's fine. She digs through they like have a barrel out there with all this stuff in it. Excuse me. And sticks the thing up my nose, tells me I'm going to get teary-eyed and blah, 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 blah. And I leave. And then I have to wait 24 hours for my test results, because it's called a PCR test. They say that these are the most accurate. I don't know. Tyler told me that when he took his test, they gave him a rapid test because he already had symptoms, and that's supposed to be very accurate too. But then you talk to somebody else, and they say that one's inaccurate and gives a lot of false positives, where the PCR gives a lot of false negatives. So are any of these really good? And I'm going over stuff I've actually talked to doctors over the last 3 days about, and I'm getting different things from everybody. So I find out my test is negative. So now I'm starting to get angry again, right? Getting angry because now I'm trying to get out of the house. I'm negative. What the fuck do I need to stay home for? This makes no sense to me. My wife is still sick as a dog. Um, and she's not doing very well. She's still sleeping 14, 15, 16 hours a day. Hot and cold sweats, getting up once in a while, but laying on the couch, curled up in a ball. Can't get comfortable still. So this is still going on days later. And all of a sudden yesterday, Sunday, she still didn't wake up till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But then she got showered and she's sitting up and we're watching TV together and she's starting to feel good. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Oh, good. You know, because you started to get worried. Then I find out she was supposed to call the doctor like 2 days ago. So she was supposed to call him on like Thursday or Friday to check in with them and let them know how they're doing. Well, she couldn't do it physically, and I had no idea what she was technically supposed to do because no one's allowed to go into the ER and talk to the doctors. So it kind of makes everything more difficult because I wasn't allowed in the ER, so I couldn't talk to anybody. I would have had all this information. Maybe right there and then, she could have been like, he's going to have to call. I don't know if I'm going to be capable of doing it. And then I would have been able to take care of this stuff. And I wouldn't have been so worried about all of this going on while I'm also dealing with whether or not I'm positive or negative. And of course, then I find out I'm negative. But still dealing with all of this, not knowing this information and not knowing what she had for a virus drives me crazy. I'm like, because she had all the symptoms except loss of smell and loss of taste. She had everything else. I mean, there was only a couple times she was over 100 on her temp, which is, according to like Walmart and work, anything over 100 is a fever and they send you home. If you're in the ER, 104 is what they're looking for. So I say, if you're at 100 or you're over 100, all right? So that happened a couple times. And that's what had me worried. But she could still taste and she could still smell. So, but she had everything else. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I'm wondering if she should get tested for antibodies now because she may have gotten a false negative, which happens with the PCR test. So she could have been positive. And I've been in the house with her all week, but we've been social distancing inside of our house. Now, we have not been wearing masks. I think that's retarded. And I won't do it. But we stayed away from each other. You know, we're not sharing drinks. She's sitting on the couch. I'm sitting at the freaking kitchen table. The TV swivels. You know, figure it out. But we social distanced for over 5 days in the house. Like, the day she started feeling sick was the day I started social distancing from her. And we did it just to keep ourselves safe. You know? And so now it's Monday, and I found out that I have to stay home for 10 days. So I had close contact on the 8th. No, that is incorrect. I had close contact on Monday, so today is 7 days. So 3 more days, I'm free to go. So that's great. I'm excited. I'm still negative. I still have no symptoms. And I went through a roller coaster of emotions because of this. And this is what a lot of people, I believe, are having a hard time with, is this emotional roller coaster that this is putting us through, where we're being stuck in our houses, we're being told we can't leave, and then we have to figure everything out. I mean, being stuck at home sucks and is nice at the same time because I love being home. I told you all, I'm a homebody. I love this. This is where I do my best work. But when you're told you can't leave, it is a game changer. Because now you're like, fuck, I don't want to be here. And then you have to figure out how to get your groceries. Now, I'm not saying that these apps didn't help. They were a blessing in disguise. They were amazing, and they're still amazing. I'm still using them. I still got 3 days. So, it still costs more money, though. Right? Because Normally I would go to a store, I'd probably spend 25, 30 bucks at the store, and I'm done. But when you need to check out and you want delivery service, there's a minimum. Now, what if I wasn't going to make that minimum in that store? Now I'm trying to find items that I possibly would buy and wouldn't be a waste of money because I have to up my cart in order to get the deliveries to my house. So that's frustrating. So you spend more money there, and it's like, well, I can't really afford to spend more money. You know, things happen, sick time doesn't get added into the paycheck. Shit happens. You come up a little short, and now you're paying out extra, and it just turns into one of these things that I always am prepared for, because I was prepared for this. I wasn't prepared for COVID. I wasn't prepared for being stuck at home. What I was prepared for was everything in my life was going financially well, right? And this happens every single fucking time I do this. I get us to a point where we're finally climbing, we're getting over the hump, things are starting to level out, and then boom, big expenses happen. My catalytic converter went on my car, so I need from the catalytic, which is the engine, the heads, all the way back to the dual exhaust. So there's $660 just in parts. That's before I put it on the vehicle. And then we got hit with this, and we had to rearrange everything and use part of that stimulus check to get us through this week. You know, to get us through these 10 days, I should say. So it's like, oh, good, I finally had things going to a good point, and then bam, I get hit with something. And I feel like there's a lot of us out there that deal with this. And I tell you, when everything was going well, like I talked about months ago, I started putting stuff aside. I started nitpicking. I started kind of getting myself ready for the next hiccup, because I was like, something is coming. There has not been one point in my life that I have got myself into a good financial situation and then didn't have something major happen where all the money I thought I was going to save was just literally spent in minutes. So I got myself prepared for this, and then it hit. And here we are. We're in the middle of it right now. And so I got my exhaust ordered. You know, I had to do what I had to do. I had to figure this all out, and I got to get the car fixed. It's throwing a code. It's shutting off my cruise control. It's awesome. I love it. But you got to get the car fixed, otherwise you can't get around. You got to stay home, otherwise you could spread COVID to other people. And we can't have that happening either. So these are all things that have to be done. But the emotions that I went through were wild. I mean, I was angry, I was happy, I was sad, I was frustrated, I was tired. Because, I mean, I'm trying to take care of the house and all this other crap that's going on. I'm trying to but trying to put everything together to make this week, these 10 days work. And I'm also taking care of my sick wife. So there was just a lot going on. So there was a lot of emotions, a lot of frustration. You know, she's sick of being sick, so her tone changes every now and then, and that's fine. I understand that. I mean, when I get sick like that, which hasn't happened in a long time, I'm a miserable person when I'm sick. I'm like a little child. I thought I was a child just on an everyday basis. Nah, you get me sick, I am a friggin' child. Whiny bitch. But who doesn't act like that? Who enjoys being sick, right? You can't do anything you wanted to. You feel fatigued. And the last thing you want to do is ever be held back from doing what you normally do. I mean, that's super frustrating in general. I mean, even after an injury, I've been super frustrated about not being able to do certain things. So this happens to all of us. It was a really, really rough start to 2021, you know? The only thing I was happy about is I got to watch Two Bears, One Cave. That was great. I love those live podcasts. And I got to watch the ball drop. I mean, that night we actually did hang out and we watched the two bears, and then we watched the ball drop. And then she went to bed about 2 hours before me because I had to finish that podcast. They did it for 4.5 hours. It was awesome. And that was it. After that, she woke up the next day, and I think it was late in the afternoon. She got to finish two bears and then downhill after that. But now she's doing good. It's Monday. She's doing well. She's calling people. She's getting her shit figured out. So she's starting to feel like a person again, which is great. I'm very excited. I'm so happy she's feeling better. I'm glad to hear that Tyler is feeling better at this moment in time. He's still not out of the woods per se, but he said he was doing a little bit better yesterday. I'm going to catch up with him today, and my expectations are hopefully sometime in the near future, because I can't put a timestamp on this, but I'm hoping to get him on here and we can really discuss what he went through during this whole time that he was stuck at his house as well. We want to really put something together and discuss it, because I think this needs to be talked about. There's a lot of people out there that think this is fake and it's not real, and I feel like the only reason you feel that way is because it hasn't happened to you yet. But let me tell you, when it gets this close to home, it's pretty fucking real. So I'm definitely not a denier. I don't think if I had gotten it, I'd be dead. But I definitely see what it can do. And I definitely want to see if she has the antibodies for it, because I think that she got a false negative. I really do. But we'll see what happens, right? This is the way it goes. She can go back to work on Thursday. I get to go back to work on Friday. And that's it. That's that. I'm just happy that we're out of the woods and finally getting back to somewhat normal. naturalbossnh.com. That's naturalbossnh.com. You need to go to this website and get yourself some hand sanitizer and help keep the spread of COVID and flu down. This stuff is amazing. I use it every day, have been for over a year, and I absolutely love the way it makes my hands feel and smells. Their salve is great for dry skin, and right now it's winter. We've got a lot of it. So get yourself some salve, put it on the skin before you step outside, and you feel that much better. They've also got a beard oil. Maybe you're trying to get the snarls out of that beard you're growing. Well, this is a great way to do it, and it's just a wonderful, natural, organic product. Also, they have lip balm. So if your lips get real chapped this winter, this is going to help soothe that. And then don't forget about their foot and body soak. So for everybody looking for a relaxing evening and maybe a cleansing of the skin, this stuff is going to help you. You can throw it in the tub, sit back, relax, read a book, and have a great, enjoyable, relaxing night. So again, you can get any one of 5 of these amazing organically made products at naturalbossnh.com. That's naturalbossnh.com. New Hampshire Vape Gallery is located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings. We're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. You can give us a call, 603-814-4171, and you can come in our store provided you wear a mask. We have everything that you need for your vaping needs. That's right. We specialize in just vaping. Most vape shops are connected to a convenience store or a smoke shop. Not us. Vaping only. So we are in the position to really help you find what you're looking for. To keep that focus on just getting off of cigarettes or upgrading devices, or maybe you're looking for some juices. We've got 150 different flavors of juices. I've got menthols. I got menthol fruits. I got fruits. I even got desserts. I try to have a little bit of everything. So if you're coming from Massachusetts, we've got a great selection for all of you. Also, we have over 80 different flavors in our salt nicks. That's right, the high nicotine. We've got a bunch of flavors in those as well. having the widest variety of disposables on our shelves. These things are awesome. I love using them for snow blowing and shoveling and all the stuff that we got to do this winter. I've also got like the RPM80s. These are a great pod device. The RPM2s are amazing. So all kinds of devices, all kinds of juices, and everything that you need. Plus CBD, and if you're looking for some great multi-mats, we've got those as well. We got small multi-mats, large multi-mats. We've got mouse pads. So why don't you come on down to New Hampshire Vape Gallery, located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings. We're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. Feel free to give us a call, 603-814-4171, and you can always come in our store, provided you wear a mask. I look forward to seeing you there, and now, back to the show. My kettlebell workout. I started it yesterday because, like I said, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just tell myself that I need to do something, and then I'm going to do it. And sometimes I get it started, and it's not what I thought, or I just don't get it started at all. So I started kettlebells a year ago, and I tried it for a minute, and I got way too big of a weight, and now I'm starting with 10 pounders. I know, bitch move, right? I don't think so. It's somewhere to start. I'm not going to sit there and call myself a bitch. Somebody else might, but what do I care what they think, right? So I got 10 pounders. I got a couple 15 pounders. We're going to work our way up to 35. It's fine. I don't need to be at 35. But it's just a small workout. You do a couple different things, 2 sets of each, and it's nice because now I'm getting my form, getting the swing of things, huh? And it's nice to finally do it. I found something that's about 20 minutes long, and I'm just excited to get that started. I'm excited to get that into my routine. I mean, there's going to be some days where I won't be able to do kettlebells and running, so I'm going to try and get myself on an on-off situation. I like using the running to up my temp instead of doing jumping jacks and all that other stuff. So I might just use the run in the mornings that I'm going to do kettlebells, just to get my heart rate up and get warm, and then I'll get into kettlebells. And then the other days, I'll do my 1.5 mile run. So I'm just working this out, getting a feel for it, trying to get there's just certain positions, even with the giant mirror I have, I can see that my posture is not quite right, but that's because I've never done these moves before. So if I walked into jiu-jitsu and they showed us a brand new armbar, and if you could do that armbar right off the bat, you wouldn't need class, right? And that's the whole thing. You have to learn the move, and then even if you've repeated the move 100 times, you only know a small bit of that move. So it's the same with the kettlebell. I've never done them before, but I don't really use the bench anymore. Free weights, kind of old school. A lot of people still like them. I like the mobility of the kettlebell. I like a lot of the movements that it has. And where I have shoulder problems, I love the fact that you're like consistently moving your shoulders while you're doing these workouts. So it's just really nice. So there's only like 2 or 3 workouts within the 12 to 15 that I do in this small segment that I have a little bit of trouble with. So I take those ones a little bit slower, and I'm going to focus on those 3 and get those ones better, because it seems like everything else I don't have a real problem doing. I look in the mirror, I'm copying what they're doing on the TV, and I look like what they look like in the mirror, and that makes me happy. And once I get that all down, I'll be able to then learn new exercises with the kettlebell, and then I can switch it up so that I'm never doing the same amount of same exercises every time. Right now we're just going to work on these exercises because there's those couple workouts that I was like, man, I just have trouble with these ones. So once I don't have trouble with those ones, I can move on to the next ones. And then I'm going to make a mix match of everything that I really enjoy. And those are going to be my kettlebell workouts for the week. And I will be able to switch between workouts so that I'm not working the same thing all the time. Since I'm just getting started, I've never done it before anyways, so none of my muscles are used to this movement. So it's going to work out really good, but you plateau after like maybe a week or two. So I can bring myself to a plateau and then move on from there. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do this for a couple weeks. I'm going to get my body used to the movement. I'm going to get myself used to the move. I need to do it almost 10,000 times for it to be natural. So we need to do it at least 500 to 1,000 times, right? You need to do it at least 500 times for your body to get used to it. So I'm just going to do that and work on it and get better at it and then add more in and then spread it out. I think it's going to be a great way for me to get into it. And then once all those workouts are all done with 10-pound weights, then the goal is to get up to 15 pounds. And then once you do that, then you go to the next step. I don't know if I'm going to go buy $20. I don't know if I'm going to go buy 20 pounders or 25 pounders. I'll probably do that though. I'll probably end up going 10, 15, 25 if they got them, 20s, and then go into the 35. So it's going to be a while before I get there because I don't want to push myself too fast because I don't want to injure myself because we just can't afford to do that. But this is what I'm doing for the new year. It wasn't the best start, but I made the best of it. And I had to talk to another friend before I even got there. I had to call. I was texting with him, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm stuck at home. What the fuck? What am I going to do? And he goes, how about you work out, do some kettlebells, do some projects around the house. Use this time to better yourself and level up. Your wife's sick. You can't go anywhere. So why don't you step it up, take care of yourself, and then take care of your wife while you're at it, and take care of your house. He's like, utilize the time correctly. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're so right. I'm thinking about this in such a negative way that I've lost my way. And it was really nice to have all these people around me that just kept telling me I needed to stay positive. I needed to focus on what's in front of me. And then we're going to figure everything else out when we get there. And, I always say your support group is very important. And this is why these people are in my life today. Because this is what happens when I call on them. This is what happens when I need them. I get exactly what I need. I get told the truth. I get told to stop fucking wallowing in my tears and stop being sad for myself and to look at the situation differently and then take a hold of it, take control of it, and get the shit done that needs to be done. Because when you don't, you don't get anything done. You're depressed. You start following, and then you get that rain cloud over your head. And I know that rain cloud very well. And that thing smothers me. And then I get super drawn. Like I go inside, and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to talk to anybody. So as soon as I started feeling that way this time, I started telling everybody, this is what's going on. Of course, I had to anyways because of the circumstances. So anybody I had contact with, I had to tell. But it was nobody because they even said, this is so interesting. This is another thing too about this COVID crap. He was positive. I saw him on Monday. If I had come into contact with anybody between Monday and Saturday, the people I came in contact with wouldn't have gotten it from me. If I had come in contact with anybody after Monday, nobody would have gotten sick from me. Now, luckily, on Monday, I didn't go anywhere because school was closed. And then I had to go to work on Tuesday. No. Yeah, I went to work on Tuesday. And that's why I was afraid, because I was with him on Monday. I went to work on Tuesday. And then I'm finding out Wednesday he's positive. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the doctors told me, you don't have to call anybody and let them know. And I said, what are you talking about? You just said because he was positive, I have to stay home now in quarantine and I have to go get tested. He's saying he's positive, but you're saying if I came in contact with anybody after Monday, they're okay? And he's like, yeah, because you weren't showing positive signs. You weren't showing symptoms, so therefore anybody coming in contact with you should be fine. And like I've said over and over and over again, I wear gloves, I wear a mask, and we got plastic everywhere. And I live next to that hand sanitizer. And I know a lot of people say, oh, hand sanitizing the gloves doesn't work. I think it does. I think it does a lot. I sprayed straight up rubbing alcohol on those gloves. And, so it was just interesting to me that the doctor would sit there and be like, oh, yeah, no, you're fine because you weren't showing any symptoms when you went to work on Tuesday. If you went to work on Tuesday and you were symptomatic, then there'd be an issue. I'm like, huh. So between, the false positive of the PCRs, the false positive negatives on the rapid tests, just the different types of information. Like I called the doctor's office today. They say if work will take your negative test and they feel good with it, you can go back to work tomorrow. And I said, oh, well, that sounds great. They're like, but I would call the COVID hotline first. And I said, why do I need to call them? And they're like, well, you need to talk to them and just discuss it with them because you called them so they know that you're on record for this, right? Because you have to call the state. So I had to call them again. And I call them and I'm like, hey, I just got off the phone with Dartmouth. They're the ones that gave me the test. They said as long as work approves my negative test that I could go back to work. And they're like, no. And I go, what do you mean no? And they're like, no, you can't. You have to stay on the 10-day quarantine, even with a negative, because it could have been a false negative. I'm like, all right. So I got Dartmouth telling me that if work wants to accept it, we're good. But I got you telling me, no, can't go anywhere until the 8th. And he goes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. So you shouldn't leave your house until after the 7th. So even calling the people that you're supposed to call, talking to the doctors, getting the tests done, it's still confusing. Every test can give a false. Doesn't matter which one you take. They can all be false. Doctors are telling you good to go after the negative test. The state's telling you no, stay on a 10-day quarantine. So no one's saying the same thing. And this really made me realize that, we don't know what's going on. They have a slight idea. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of us know what the hell's going on. And it was very frustrating. That also built my anger too. Because I'm calling doctors, I'm talking to them, and I'm just getting one saying one thing, one saying the other. You listen on the internet, you got highly educated doctors, and they're saying different things. I was also told that antibodies only live for 3 months. And I was like, wait a minute, I've heard 6 months to a year. And then I got Dartmouth and the CDC, or I don't even know if it was the CDC. It was COVID hotline. I don't know who that is. Maybe it directs you to the COVID team in your state. I'm not sure, but that's who it was, and they're all saying different things. Everybody's saying something different. Nobody is got the same thing, and it's like they're saying 3 months those antibodies will stay alive in your system, and then Dr. Drew got COVID, right? And he's been telling us to be aware of this forever. I know there was a whole bunch of bullshit in Twitter, and I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. But now he was saying 6 months to 9 months. Now he's saying 3 months to 4 months for the antibodies. So, and I guess if you've had COVID, don't get the vaccine until your antibodies are gone. So, and I'm sure you're on a list, and I'm sure they won't vaccinate you too soon. But I've heard you can't get vaccinated if you've had it. You got to wait until the antibodies are gone. And now I've heard that the antibodies will only last 3 to 4 months in your body. And then after that, you could catch it again. Because if you don't have the antibodies, you can catch it again. That's the whole thing that keeps you from catching it, is the antibodies, but they're short-lived. Which is unfortunate. I was really hoping that they would be longer. But, I mean, how long is the vaccine supposed to last after you get it? You know, does that even make it 9 months? So, things I need to look up. There's still a lot of questions to be asked, of course. But this is how my week started. This is how my new year started. And I'm not here to complain. I'm not belly aching. In a sense, I was, but I get to get these thoughts out. This is what this is for. And if you're having these thoughts, I hope this helps you. You know, because this is taking a weight off my shoulder today. Oh, I forgot that was carbonated. Oh, bubbly. But yeah, so that's what's been happening this week here. So a bunch of stuff coming soon. Obviously, I have to wait until I'm off my quarantine before I can get anything started, but should be having a podcast with Alicia, who is I guess she's the CEO of naturalbossnh.com. I'm hoping that's going to come up within the next... I'll be honest with you. It could be a month or two before it happens. You know, I want to get a conversation with Tyler so we can talk a little bit deeper on this COVID thing and go over his experiences with it, since he has now lived through it. And then I got some other stuff that I'm trying to get started, you know. Man, that was a lot. That was a lot. It was a heavy load, and I hope it helps out there. I really do. I mean... I'm not any more educated on this subject than anybody else out there, but this really opened my eyes to show me that we really do not know what the hell's going on. This virus is just going to do whatever it wants, and when it's done, it'll be done. You know, but it's a wild time, and wasn't exactly how I wanted to bring in my new year. It's not exactly how I wanted anything to go down, but life is tough, and you don't always get what you want. That's for sure. So, if there's anything out there that you can learn early, it's that. This is going to be a rough ride. We have no control over what happens, and this has definitely proved it to me. I had no control over any of this. I was like an innocent bystander in a car accident, and that was it. I'm stuck at home like everybody else, and I wasn't even infected. And if I was, I don't know. They said I was negative. So the only thing that tells me, and I'll end on this note because this does make me happy, my immune system has got to be rock solid. It's the only excuse I have. It's the only thing that holds my brain together going, yeah, we got this. Because to be around her, I figured I would have gotten something. I really did. And then with Tyler being positive, I was like, well... oh, great, I'm doomed. and I got nothing. So this is why I keep saying, our health is super important. Your immune system is super important. So do whatever you can out there to take care of yourself. Do whatever you can out there to build your immune system. And do everything in your power to slow down the spread of this. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Get yourself some good hand sanitizer. Stay clean. I don't think anybody else thinks about this way. But that mask on your face should be treated like a pair of underwear. If you've worn it more than once, that's gross. Okay? Let's have some hygiene with the masks. Treat it like a pair of underwear. You only wear them once and then you wash them or dispose of them. Don't keep wearing the same thing and stop vaping and smoking through them. Jesus Christ, people, it's so disgusting when you see that, and I am trying to end on a light note here, but I think this needs to be said. So keep yourself and your masks clean so that they all work properly and we can slow down the spread of this. Maybe. I don't even know if that works anymore. People are having bacterial infections in their nasal passages from wearing dirty masks. You don't have to do that. They're not expensive. Actually, almost everywhere passes them out for free now. So you can literally go to Walmart and get a free mask every day. Just hang on to that mask all day. And at the end of the day, it's done. You throw it away. You need a new one? Well, go back to Walmart and get one. So what if you have to walk around Walmart for a second with the mask on? You just walk back out. You just got a free mask for the day. And that's all I got. I just want to see this go away like everybody else. I want to stop dealing with it, and I want to stop being stuck at home. This is very unfortunate and not fun. So that's it, everybody. That is the podcast for the week. I'm so glad I got to be here. I'm so glad that I didn't get sick. So there's a lot of things to be thankful for. I kept a handle on everything, and I got through this without too much pain. And I hope the rest of you had. Let me know how your new year went. How did yours start off? Give me some stories. Tell me what's going on out there. All right. Hit me up at talkingwithtopher@gmail.com. That's TALKIN with Topher@gmail.com. You can just send whatever you want. It's fun. If you don't feel like sending anything to the email, then follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. And you can DM me there. I don't know about Facebook so much. I don't keep that one on my phone, but you can DM me if you don't feel like sending anything to the email. Let me know how your new year went. Maybe it started off just as rough as mine. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching the video, please subscribe to the channel. That's what helps this grow. That's what makes it bigger and better and get noticed by others. The more, the merrier. I'm seeing a lot of views on my videos, and I just need you to click that subscribe button to help the channel out. I appreciate it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up after you've watched the videos. And let's just keep spreading this, keep talking about it. I am so excited to go into 2021 with some updated stuff in the studio. And I just thank you. I thank you all. Be safe, and I'll talk to you later.